and the Corsairs are going to spot them. This is going to be close to see whether they can drop on time. 2 Overlords go down before any drop. That drop's come to naught. That's 3 Zerglings having made it through. And in the meantime, Stork is pressing in toward the natural of Type B. Dark Swarm plus those Sunkens have pushed him back for now, but there are not enough Zerglings to complete this attack. The only way that this drop could work is if a Defiler was in that Overlord. It's not, and that would have enabled a Dark Swarm over the Nexus and a chance to snipe it, but nothing doing there. Stork, on the other hand, he's suffering economically a bit. He's nearly mined out at his main and natural, and so if he is not able to secure an expansion pretty soon, he is going to be screwed, because it looks like Type B has taken a 5th base at the 6 o'clock or so position. Plague on the Corsairs, that's going to definitely hurt Stork's ability to harass with them. But this is a pretty tense moment in the game, because Stork needs to secure an expansion, and that expansion has been spotted, so Type B is going to be heading over there pretty soon. That's a lot of Ultralisks and a lot of Defilers too. There's 3 just in that group, and there are, I think, a couple still scattered across the map. That's really a lot of Defilers, and huge load of Ultralisks are on the move here, so Stork knows that this attack is coming because he spotted it with the Corsairs, and he is going to have to hold this off in order to save his chances for this game. As the players are posturing and maneuvering around the map for position, and little harassments are going on, it's kind of hard to say very much, because really it looks like this game is going to come down to one big deciding late game battle, and a lot of the rest of it is just going to be waiting for that battle to occur. Not very much anti-air for Type B at all, and these Corsairs are starting to kill a lot of Overlords. It looks to me like from the supply counts at the bottom right of the screen that Type B is on an 170 food army, but he's only got 64 or so points of food from Overlords left, so these Corsairs have been doing a lot of damage, and it's going to be a long time before Overlords hatch to allow Type B to start reinforcing his forces, or rather, all of Type B's larvae are going to be committed to building more Overlords. So this small fleet of about 7 Corsairs has been doing tremendous damage, and has really been buying Stork a lot of time to get that expansion up and running. The question remains, is he going to be able to hold it? Dark Archons and Reavers coming out, so we're getting into some really endgame type armies, and I think the Dark Archon is a really wise idea, because of those 4 or 5 Defilers moving with that one group. Some clutch feedbacks can do a lot of damage. Finally, there's a Hydralisk on the field, and more Plague on the Corsairs, but yeah, these Hydralisks are pretty late. Type B is finally not supply blocked anymore, but he hasn't been able to build all that many more units. He doesn't have much more in his food cap to be able to produce all that much more. He can get out another half a dozen Ultralisks, or you know, about 25 food worth of units here, and Stork's on a pretty comparable food count as well. So we're going to be having a big endgame engagement with maxed armies. Finally, we're starting to see some anti-air units from Type B again, and a large mixed composition endgame army for Stork. So yeah, a lot of options here. If Stork didn't opt for the ground army, it would even have been possible, considering how slow Type B was in doing anything anti-air, that Stork might have even been able to get away with going for an endgame Corsair carrier army, though that's perhaps a little bit riskier than just going for a big max ground army. And here it is. This is going to be a focal attack in this game. Storms are going off all over the place. Maelstrom catching some Ultralisks, so the Dark Archon being put to some use, and there's a lot of Ultralisks here, yes, but the splash damage from these Archons and Reavers is going to take them apart pretty quickly. It's not going to be very easy for Type B to break through here. He's got some Hydralisks through to take out the Reavers that have kind of strayed out into the front, but Type B's attack force has been weakened substantially, so it's going to really be a close call as to whether this is going to be enough to break through the natural. He's getting in and doing some damage, and Stork's reinforcements are not really quick to show up. There are some DTs on the go to start cleaning this up, but it seems like there are enough overlords to detect. Where's Stork's reinforcements coming out of the gateways? It doesn't look like he really has it, so he's at risk of losing his natural. Considering it's mined out, that's not economically such a big deal, but he is going to lose some tech, and more importantly, he's going to lose a pretty critical position because that natural is splitting. Has now Type B taking that natural has now split Stork's man from his third, and Stork is going to have to move through a big Zerg army to get forces from either one to either one. Stork's still got his Corsair fleet, but I think now Stork losing his army was just too much there. I don't see how Stork is going to have a very easy time of now defending his main and most critically his remaining gateways and robotics facility from Type B's attack. Type B doing something I haven't seen yet on this map. He's taking the center base, and this looks like a good time for some Dark Swarm, but I don't see a Defiler on hand. It doesn't look especially like Type B is going to need it to push through and take out this Nexus and all of the probes there. Stork is in serious trouble, and with no army to speak of, I don't see how he's going to take this game. He has a number of Reavers, but they're going to be kind of locked into defending that those remaining bases of his, and I think given the economic state of the game, with Stork on 2 remaining bases, one of them being his mined out base, so he's got 1 mining base, versus probably about 2 to 3 mining bases for Type B. It's gonna be really tough. GG from Stork. Type B taking game here from the defending OSL champion, and I think that's pretty impressive. I can't really point to any terribly obvious mistakes that Stork made in this game. It wasn't like his game against Effort a while ago, where he got really greedy on this same map and took an incredibly fast third base. I don't think Stork made any really obvious mistakes, and I think for a while he was in an advantage. I think it was just really that that one end game engagement that won the game for Type B. I don't know if it was a question of army composition. I don't think it was, because Stork had a good variety of units and a good proportion of them to deal with Type B's army, I thought, but Type B was able to just overpower Stork. I think what might have been a cause of that was Type B focusing so much on Zerglings in the early game. That saved him resources to get more higher tech units in the late game. I'm not sure if that's what's actually the reason for his late game army breaking through, but that's what I'm going to conjecture anyway. It seems to make some sense to me, at least. So that was an exciting one and a big upset to boot, and at the bottom of the screen at the end there, they were advertising the next game in this day of OSL play, and that's going to be the next one that I'm going to cast. It is going to be Bisu versus Gogo. So I hope you go your way over to that video once it's uploaded. Thanks very much for watching, and there'll be more commentaries for you soon. Have a good day.